Hey guys, this is Fully MTG3 here, back with another video, another deck tech. This is Bryce. Today I'm going to be doing the deck tech on Red Deck Wins. So yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, first part of the deck tech I'm going to do is the main board, starting off with the creatures. I run 3 Frenzied Goblins. If you don't know what that is, whenever he attacks, you can pay 1. If you do, target creature can't block. So I run 3 Frenzied Goblins. I run a playset of Okran Crusaders. Basically, every time you target him, you get a 1/1 token with haste. So you'll see why that becomes more important later. A playset of Foundry Street Denizens. They can get really big off other creatures entering the battlefield, especially since I run a bunch of 1-drops. So later in the game, maybe turn 3 or 4, they get really big because of how many creatures I can spit out. I run a playset of Satyr Hoplite. I know you can't read it because it's in a foreign language, but what it does is whenever you target it with its a heroic trigger, you get a +1/+1 counter. I also run a playset of Fire Crusaders. Fire Crusader is good in most matchups, but if I'm not on the play, he'll usually go out only because he's a great turn 1 play. He's a 2/1 for 1 mana, but whenever he's dealt damage, he deals that much damage to you. And then you can pay 2 to basically make him Fire Breathe, but then it deals 1 damage to you. So that's that. And then the last set of creatures that I run is a playset of Monastery Swiftspear from the new set Khans of Tarkir. It has haste, it's 1 for 1/2, and it does have prowess. So whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1 on the end of turn. Okay, so that's for the creatures. Now we are going to move on to the enchantments. I only run 8 enchantments. I run a playset of Hammer Hands, which is enchant creature. When a hammer hand enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. And then enchanted creature has +1/+1 in haste. So like, let's say I do a turn 1 Fire Crusader, turn 2 I get an Okran Crusader and a hammer hand on it. That's already swinging for a lot of damage because you get the 1/1 and it gives it haste. And if they have a blocker per se, like Sylvan Caryatid, it can't block. So, well, actually I take it back because Sylvan Caryatid has hexproof. But if they have a different blocker, it can't block. So I run a playset of Hammer Hands, and I run a playset of Dragon Mantle. This is really the only card draw that I have in the deck. Whenever Dragon Mantle enters the battlefield, draw a card, and also it has Fire Breathing. So in late game, I can buff up my creatures, the ones that don't get blocked. Now on to the instants and sorceries. I only run instants. Sorceries are too slow because this deck is very fast. I run a playset of Stoke the Flames. So good with the Okran Crusader, being able to enchant it and then turn 3 tapping 3 creatures and 1 mana and still being able to play other things to be able to cast Stoke for its convoke cost. It does deal 4 damage to target creature or player. Next thing I run is collateral damage. So let's say I get an Okran Crusader out and I get a token off it, and they're swinging in with a 4/4. So let's say they're swinging with Stormbreath Dragon. Okay, so okay, that doesn't work because that is flying. Let's say they're swinging in with a 4/4. So they swing in with a 4/4. I block, and then in response, I use collateral damage, where I sacrifice a creature, and then it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. So I can block a 4/4, deal combat damage, and before it dies, before it resolves, I can sacrifice it to collateral damage. So it's basically a lightning bolt, but you have to sacrifice 3 creatures. The last set of instants that I run is Titan Strength. 1 mana, +3/+1 till the end of turn, scry 1. It's really good, triggering Okran Crusader, and then it can trigger Prowess off Monastery Swiftspear. It's pretty good for late game when they're at a low life total, and they decide not to block one of your 1/1s, and then you just buff it up. So yeah. Other than that, I run a playset of Wooded Foothills. I'm trying to get a playset of Bloodstained Mires just to thin out the deck. And I run 13 Mountains. Yes, I only run 17 lands, but then again, my entire deck is converted mana cost 1 except for Stoke the Flames, and I'm never using the mana to actually cast Stoke the Flames. Okay, so now that that is all done, we will move on to the sideboard. Hey guys, I'm back with my sideboard. Okay, so starting off with instance, we're going to go with 3 coordinated assaults. So it's 1 mana, up to 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 and first strike until the end of turn. So basically when I'm playing one of my similar matchups, or I'm playing green with Sylvan Caryatid or Corsair Crufix, like if I have Monastery Swiftspear down and they have a Corsair, or they have a Sylvan Caryatid, I can coordinate assault it, triggering prowess, and it gives it +1 more, so it kills it off. So that's good for sideboard, and it's good for aggro matchups too, because you get the first strike. The next set of instance is a playset of Lightning Strike. Really good against Abzan aggro, can take out Rakshasa and Fleecemane Lion if they're tapped out, of course, because if not, they could just monstrous it. But it's also really good if you're playing control. You can early game try to burn the opponent out a little bit more before he can start countering all your stuff. Next set of instance is Searing Blood. Also really good against aggro matchups. A lot of my sideboard is just aggro hate. Basically, it's 2 red mana, it deals 2 damage to target creature, and whenever that creature dies this turn, Searing Blood deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Okay, I do have 2 sorceries sideboard. 2 Harnessed by Force. This is for when I'm playing red-green monsters or Temur monsters or Mardu mid-range, when I'm playing the bigger creature decks and I can't do anything when they get out that Butcher or they get the Storm Breath or they just get a massive creature that I can't deal with, I'll side those in and take it from them and beat them with it. So I have 2 of those. I'll move on to enchantments now. Enchantments, I have 2 Circle of Flames. It is broken against aggro matchups. It deals 1 damage whenever a creature without flying attacks you or a planeswalker you control. Circle of Flame deals 1 damage to that creature. So if they're trying to use Mardu Scout to dash in for 3 damage, it does nothing. So that card shuts down a lot of aggro decks, and most aggro decks do not run enchantment hate in the sideboard either. My last card is Tormod's Crypt. I run 2. I used to play Sidisi Whip, and I quit because I hated it. And I hate Sidisi Whip, and I hate the deck. It's dumb, it's broken. So I have Graveyard Hate in my sideboard. Only 2, of course, but if they get a Hornet Queen in the graveyard, that's insane. Just get it out really quick. So yeah, that is my sideboard. If you guys have any questions, comments, or any ideas for my deck, maybe what I could change to make it better, that'd be great. If you could just leave them in the description below, that'd be awesome. Thanks you guys for watching. This is Fully MTG signing off.